Buddy Caskey telling him exactly what is up.
Yeah. Not going to have any of that nonsense here tonight. And Buddy's kept it under control. There have been some chippy moments, but no doubt he's kept it under control.
Nate Blundell, Cason Cox. Big punches. Nate overhook, jumps the guillotine. Cason Cox keeping his posture, but man, that looks like a good bite.
Jumping Gilly right off the bat. Blundell trying to get the early
Able to
finish.
fight the hands if he can get his head out of here.
Cason attacking that arm. My goodness.
Yeah, Nate Blundell not wasting any time.
No.
This is a better attempt here. This is a tight bite, but Cason Cox definitely fighting all he can. Doing the right thing here by keeping his head side high. Punching out of the guillotine, maybe not the best thing. Nate Blundell moves to mount.
Definitely a harder position to get out of once you're in the mount, but I
Looks like he got out of there, yep.
He's out of it, but not in a great position here.
Not where you want to be with the experience of Blundell on top of you.
You can just tell by the positioning of Blundell. He understands how to mount somebody, hold tight, and retain the position. It's going to be difficult, even though Cason Cox probably, we're in the first round here. He's probably got a little bit of pop in his legs still.
Right.
Nate Blundell doing a good job staying in this dominant position, controlling.
Smothering right now is Blundell. Cox trying to find his way out the back door. Not going to happen.
Blundell inevitable with that guillotine.
Always a constant threat with the guillotine.
I
Cason
love
doing
it.
a good job of not giving him the space to rain down those punches. But if you just find that opportunity to bridge out of here.
Yeah, Cason is doing a good job, not taking much punishment, but he is working hard. Nate Blundell, once more, this is tight.
Yeah, it's a little bit tighter this time, it looks like.
Oh, Nate is a gilly monster. This looks like a really tough position. Cason Cox just battling through. Nate gets his hands together again. This is tough. This is tight.
Ooh, it is a tight squeeze here. They took a couple of heavy breaths there.
Yeah, I thought for a second.
He's fighting hard to get out of this. He's got 30 seconds to survive.
Cason Cox not afraid to go to sleep in the middle of this cage. This man doesn't look like he has tapping on his mind.
No.
My goodness.
I don't think, I can't tell if his hands aren't together anymore, and he survived it.
15 seconds remaining. It's been a smothering first round from Blundell, throwing up Gilly after Gilly after Gilly.
And I mean, real attempts. Gillies that are, right there, potentially fight finishing
Transitioning
attempts.
to the back here for the last 10 or so seconds.
Not going to be enough time. He did have that choke sunk in. Good thing for Cox that the bell was ready to ring, because that could have spelled the end. But a great first round from Nate Blundell, and he didn't waste any time. He immediately jumped Gilly off the bat and nearly finished it multiple times.
The man knows what he's good at, and he's ready to threaten it at any moment, which makes the rest of his game so dangerous.
It's very obvious that Cason Cox is a powerful guy. You can see those punches he's swinging and winding up. Nate Blundell just able to close the distance. Of course, get that initial guillotine jumping. From there, it was just a guillotine attack after a guillotine attack. We'll see how it progresses here. I mean, that was a difficult round. In our first fight for Nate Blundell, of course, he's done a lot of jiu-jitsu, and you got to think that he has good muscular endurance, but still, we're in a fist fight. If Cason Cox can defend a takedown, keep his range a little bit better, that's a much better route to victory for him.
Yeah, I imagine that Cason's going to be a little bit more tentative, keeping that jab out there, managing his distance, circling off the cage. I don't think he doesn't need to let Blundell back him up.
Big left hook finds the target for Cason. Again, right hand, left hook.
You can see both guys certainly have their own specialty. And Cox getting a chance to show his off here in round number 2.
Nate kind of flipping up a lazy head kick, and Cason just blasting through it. You can see there is power on those punches. Nate needs to be careful, not keep his head on the center line.
There it is. I was about to say Blundell's got to try and get back to another takedown at least.
Yeah, I don't know that the kick was the best play for Cason there, just giving Blundell the opportunity to close the distance for the takedown. If he can get out of this, I think he should keep it.
That's a good moment for Cason to separate there.
I think he might want to keep it strictly hands.
Nice, Nate. Move your feet, Nate. Head movement up feet, Nate. Pressure.
Calf kick attempt skips off the leg of Cason Cox. Again, Cason answering that calf kick attempt.
Oh, I told him not to do that.
Cox got a
I told him, do not run in. This man is looking for a takedown. Big right hands here.
Cason Cox
He's got to be smart with his head, though. He's dipping his head down a little bit too low on some of those punches, and we know that Blundell is looking for that takedown. Beautiful knees here. I love in the frame to the knees from
I'd
Cox.
like to see Cason separate again. He's doing much better at range. Let's get out of the grapple. Elbows inside. Let's separate.
Another right hand.
Blundell looking for that guillotine. Blood dripping from the nose.
Yeah, Cox has busted Blundell open here.
Good whizzer there from Cason Cox. Blundell
needs to be careful with his head here.
In his best position.
Right back to it.
Blundell trying to gather his thoughts here. Cason Cox does a good job. Pops his head out. Good shoulder pressure against the cage.
He's got his head trapped again. Needs to be careful here. There it's out.
And this is what happens, you know, this is why it's difficult to be such a specialist and a submission guy, is as the fight progresses and your muscles fill up with blood and you're taking punches to the face, it gets that much more difficult to even finish submissions. Like you can see, the first attempts, the guillotines were close. Now, not
and especially
as close.
With a submission like a guillotine that does not lend you into a great position afterwards. You might go for a heel hook here.
Cason needs to be very careful here with his legs, straight ankle lock.
He's able to roll out of it.
Just slippery. Again, blood in our muscles. Come on
This
now.
is fun,
and
though.
that is something that he
God.
worked out of in his recent grappling.
And Cason Cox lands a big hook.
Beautiful.
What a
hooks to end
finish
that
to
round.
that round.
Wow.
So we're going into round 3. I would
1-1.
think 1-1 is
no
definitely what we have here. Nate Blundell had a strong round 1, lots of good guillotine attempts, and Cason Cox answering in round 2 with some big punches.
This has been a perfect display of each guy's skill sets, right? Round 1, Blundell showing off everything he has. Cason Cox showing off the power. Landed some really good ground and pound there.
No matter what happens, remember, Tyler, I said to you, when Cason hits him, he is going to do everything he can to take it to the ground. And I predicted that one correctly.
You did. You spelled this out perfectly for us. And both guys have lived up to who they are, right? We've seen it from both of them. The question is, who's going to find the game plan in round 3? Who can get to their game plan and put it on display right here? If it goes to the ground, you think it's Blundell. If it stays on the feet, you'd lean Cox. Wow. Matt, you did a hell of a job setting this up, man. What a great card we've been treated to so far here at AKA 46.
This one came together. I can't take much credit, Brent.
Okay.
You know, Brent Mason, shout out to Brent Mason, shout out to the compound. His guys were willing to step up because Nate had a different opponent weeks and weeks in advance, and my boy Cason Cox steps up to the plate and comes on, puts a performance. This is the type of stuff, this is what we're looking to do here at AKA.
No doubt, and we are doing it here tonight in Ruston.
Absolutely. We're proud of our guys to be willing to step up, put everything on the line, take these kind of fights. And this is where this happens. In amateur MMA, this is where you take those risks and see what you're made of.
Nate Blundell just again needing to be careful with these kicks. He's not really setting them up. This is a good attempt for him. Cason Cox just being physical, digging his whizzer, gets his underhook. He needs to win the head position here.
Use the leg, Nate, shoot the leg.
Attempts. Tries to get to
nice
that front
knees
headlock.
up the middle. I really want to see Cason stick to the boxing. I don't like the kicks that he's throwing out there just because Blundell's looking for that takedown.
Sure.
You know, that exchange started off of a kick. I think he needs to stick to what he's really good at, which is landing those big right hands.
Well, he did have a nice jab in there. Blundell threw one back of his own.
Yeah, both of them definitely looking a little more tired. Blundell probably having trouble breathing out his nose right now.
Blundell needing to give him some looks, a level change, something just to make Cason think about something else. Right now, I feel like if Cason just let his hands go and bombed on Blundell, he has the advantage when it comes to just the exchanges. He's landing the heavier shots.
Blundell cannot get caught against the cage like this, though. Well,
don't put your head down.
Oh, Cason, this is just
very.
And Blundell goes to sweep over.
Interesting tactic there. I think he's a little tired.
Yeah, that's just a big mistake by Cason Cox.
And this fight is still up for grabs.
Yes.
You know, we're here in the waning seconds.
50 seconds left here, yeah. If he can find a way to get out of this and get back to his feet. Blundell putting the moves on him, though. He's got good control here.
Looks like
looking
Blundell's
to take
taking
the back.
This is going to be a tough spot for Cason Cox to fight off.
This is
here,
a big
30
moment.
seconds left in the round.
Could be the final 30 seconds that defines this fight.
Oh, Cason so close to ending up on top there, but Blundell makes the adjustment and keeps the back position.
I think he's got the neck wrapped up. Cason not doing a whole lot to get out of it.
10 seconds.
He can weather
It's time,
that.
that's
Wow, Nate Blundell gets the finish.
Wow.
At the buzzer again. Round one buzzer in his last fight. This one, he waits until the end to put the finish on it, and he finishes it with another choke. Wow.
What
Nate
an
Blundell.
excellent showing from both of these guys. I mean, both of them have bloody noses right now. They
What a battle.
really let it all out here in the cage. But I think they both were a bit tired going into round three. Cason just a little bit more gassed, and so just wasn't. I mean, you can look from the playback. He wasn't doing anything here to protect his neck.
And it was just a big mistake that he made. He had him backed up against the cage, had a chance he could, pour it on, throw some shots. Like you said, drop the head and ends up on the ground and gets choked out.
And kind of, as the fight plays out and you're kind of scooting through some of the grappling exchanges, you start to feel a little more confident, but kind of just met Nate Blundell in his teeth there in his most dangerous spots. Nate able to, weave that web, get him tangled up, and ultimately get the finish.
Once again at the buzzer, the man's got some Steph Curry in him, finding his shots at the end. Nate Blundell gets to the finish. Another RNC in the book.
How about Ruston, Louisiana?
Yeah, showing off tonight.
How about Monroe, Louisiana? Con Gracie Triad. These guys having quite a night.
Indeed they are.
Valiant show.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for both of these
None of these guys need to walk away with their heads hung tonight. They all showed up and showed out.
Unfortunately,
Nothing
only
to be
one
ashamed
can
of
have his
here.
hand raised in victory. Ladies and gentlemen, our referee has called a stoppage to the action at 2 minutes 52 seconds in round number 3, declaring your winner, Nate Blundell.
Had he finished the fight by guillotine, I was going to give him the nickname the Gilly Monster. I felt like it would have been fitting. I know you said it earlier, I would have stolen that from you, but it would have been very fitting. He jumped it multiple times, but a great job getting the submission finish for Nate Blundell. 3 straight sensational fights. All the fights tonight have been good, but these last 3 have been very high level, and that was another perfect example.